session of the Lead from Your Soul podcast. And today we're going to talk about discovering your why, your purpose, the $1,000,000 question. But before I do that, I want to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Aya Carey. I'm just a young lady, an adventurer, a wayfarer, crossing continents and cultures only to discover the truth that unites us all, our interconnection with each other and the universe. My story is one of intense transitions. I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and spent the first half of my childhood in Tripoli, North Africa, and the second half in Dublin, Ireland. And you don't have to be a cross-cultural specialist to imagine that's like living between worlds. I'm a certified leadership coach, credentialed by the International Coaching Federation. I'm an organizational leadership specialist and emotional resilience coach and mentor. My goal is to transform the conception of leadership into one of inner peace, wisdom, and creation-based thinking. I empower leaders to lead from their souls through conscious awareness via coaching and mentoring. I help time-strapped, overworked, and ambitious executives and professionals beat burnout, navigate work life and family life from a place of well-being, and enhance their productivity and performance. So, discovering your why. If you've ever been through a crisis in your life, you will understand what it means to look for your purpose. As human beings, we're different from animals. Animals just live for the sake of living. They're like in the survival mode. However, for us human beings, we crave to thrive. So it's very important for us to understand why we're here for. And if we can't, why we are on this journey in this life, what's our purpose? I do believe in human exceptionalism, that each one of us is unique. And sometimes if we can't see that, then we become disillusioned and disheartened, and sometimes we fall into despair. And that's why you have the alarmingly high rates of alcohol and drug abuse, depression, suicide, show high levels of disengagement among employees, which all point to the direction of a purpose crisis. Knowing why you're here for makes it meaningful. It helps you understand your definition of success that's meaningful to you and specific to your needs and purpose. I would like to share with you my own experience of finding my purpose. Why did I choose leadership coaching? A resounding questions that echoed within my inner being. Until I partnered with a high performance coach and I had a powerful coaching session that helped me uncover my why, my purpose, why I chose what I do. And a lot of the time when we look for our why, it's not just about why we do what we do, it's about who we are. So I want to share with you the experience I had, because the next morning I woke up and wrote down in my journal what I experienced. So I want to share it with you. I want to read it out. So bear with me here. Last night, I was graced with a powerful coaching session of self-discovery. It was emotional and full of tears, as well as insight. I woke up this morning feeling liberated. I performed my morning prayer and then went for a bike ride. The sun shone brighter than ever, the grass seemed greener, and the birds had a distinctive chirp. As I was riding through a trail of trees, the irrigation system sprayed out cold, pristine water streams. I got drenched, but doing so never felt so rejuvenating. I guess the word I'm looking for here is catharsis. As I continued riding, each freshwater stream created its mini rainbow that seemed to sparkle as it danced in the sunlight. Never did I enjoy the privilege of riding through and being engulfed by a plethora of rainbows. The world was alive and dancing with joy in my new renewed sense of presence. Being present in the moment is a very powerful experience. The world was alive and dancing with joy. Perhaps this marked the dawn of a new, more powerful transformation. It's like I am meeting myself for the first time. During last night's coaching session, I learned many new things about myself, my past, and how much my childhood impacted me. I realized for the first time that my grandfather was a beacon of enlightenment for myself and others. He was an enlightened teacher who happened to be a successful businessman and an artist. In his free time, he engaged in making traditional dresses from silver and silk, a craft that he learned since his childhood. Growing up, I watched as he designed and crafted magnificent, colorful dresses, and he would go on trips downtown to sell them. I realized that my decision to become an emotional resilience leadership coach and mentor dates back to my childhood. There are givers and takers in life, and my grandfather was a giver. He helped me find home. Home is not a place, but a space inside, a realm of calm and clarity, a sphere that is vast and vacant, yet full of potential. It dawned on me that is to empower leaders to lead from their souls through conscious awareness via coaching and mentoring. It is my family's legacy that has been passed down from one generation to the next. You must believe in yourself for others to believe in you. I realized that I had to close myself first. My mission, or rather my passion, is to help others find that space within them, a space that exists within all, yet very few are aware of it. Wisdom is a privilege, not a right. Interesting. I enjoy it every time. I feel goosebumps every time I read it. It's very moving. And I just felt like I was a new person the next day. And writing it down and just reading over it really helps me. Every time I look at it, I just feel grateful. Because at the end of the day, it really comes down to your perspective on life. You're looking for a good feeling, a feeling of gratitude that helps you be present in the moment. And brings you joy and fulfillment. So I want to look at the 4 questions to find your why. There are 4 simple questions that will help you find your why and discover your purpose. Question number 1. What helps you feel alive? The word inspire in Latin to breathe life into something. So inspiring means to inspire is to enliven. So what makes you feel alive? What helps you feel inspired? And I'm not talking about a vacation or your favorite soccer team or football team. I'm talking about that higher purpose. That thing that when you do, you just feel like you're in your zone of genius, you're in your element, that you just feel happy and excited and fulfilled. So that's an interesting question. What do you do? Do you have some sort of routine or techniques that you engage in to help you come to life, to help your senses come to life? Question number 2. Trying to remember them. What are your innate strengths? Finding your zone of genius is very important, and it lies in the intersection between your innate strengths and your passions. So when your innate strengths and skills intersect with your passions, that's your element, that's your zone of genius. And there are times when sometimes a specific thing, you feel passionate about it, but you don't have the talent for it, or vice versa. So you are talented in it, but you don't really like it. That's not exactly your element. It may become your element over time. I mean, if you're drawn to something, there's usually a reason. Your heart is telling you something, right? Maybe with practice, then it will become your element. But generally, when you're talking about your element or zone of genius, then you're talking about the intersection of your talents, your innate strengths, and your skills, the intersection of that and the things that you're passionate about. No specific pathway to find that intersection. However, there are a few things that help, like reflection, digging deep to gain insight. Like coaching is the perfect tool for that because it evokes awareness to asking probing questions. So you ask the person questions and they're reflective questions. They help the person dig in within themselves and find the answer because the answers always lie within. So the International Coaching Federation defines coaching as a partnership, a thought-provoking, co-creative partnership that helps people go from where they are to where they want to be, to what they want to create in life and maximize their personal and professional potential. So it kind of helps you uncover your why, because your why is the main driver. It's the motivation. It's the driver behind what you do. And if you have a strong why and you're in alignment with your why, then you will show up differently. When you do something that you enjoy, then you're more productive. You enjoy it. It's fun. It brings you fulfillment and also tends to bring you money eventually at some point. And I was reading a book today. It's called Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow, and tells us stories about people that were passionate. So like there was this specific architect and he was gifted, but he felt that every time he worked in a company that his talents were not valued. And eventually he decided that he wanted to start his own company. He was a young man and it took sacrifice. He had to live in a small apartment, if you can call it that. He had to cut down on many expenses, but for him, it was more important that he would fulfill his dreams and do what he wanted to do most. So he was willing to put in the effort. And over time, obviously, he became successful and he made the money. And however, at the beginning, it was a struggle, but he made that choice. He was determined. He knew his natural strengths and he wanted to live in alignment with his passions and live in that zone of element or zone of, and it's a sweet spot between doing, so it's a sweet spot of talents versus passions intersecting. So it's a balance or more of a harmony. So question was about what makes you come alive. Second question was about looking at what strengths. Number 3 is looking at where you add the greatest value. Where do you add the greatest value? And that's the pathway to fulfillment. And it's so easy for us to undervalue our skills, our 3 E's: experience, education, and expertise. When these come together, that's when you find accomplishment, fulfillment. That's when you are at the greatest value, when you can leverage the 3 of them. However, sometimes it's so easy to undervalue our 3 E's: experience, education, and expertise. So you want to be able to leverage them and never undervalue yourself. Because when we don't see it, we're not aware of our potential, then it's really hard to bring it to life. And we end up losing out. The world will lose out because each one of us has a part to play, right? So when you're valuing what you have to offer, you're more grateful for it and you'll have more of it. And you'll also grow by you share what you know and it will grow. So when you share from anything you have, when you serve, then that's going to come back to you. So it's why it's important to know where you're adding the greatest value and being aware of that, grateful for that, and also learning that and growing it, developing it so that you're growing and everybody around you is growing. And that's a very important component of finding your purpose. looking at your career, your workplace, your organization, looking at from a problem solving perspective. So kind of the sense of reframing or the mindset shift where you're like, instead of ignoring or downplaying role, looking at it and saying, how can I add more value? And then also looking at, am I thinking outside the box? Am I creable? Am I a change agent? What role do I play in this big picture? In this, because this world is almost like a fabric, and each one of us is like a piece of thread. So it's all woven together, and it helps to know what role you play, because then you can develop it, fine tune it, expand it, and be grateful for it. So, question number 4: how will you measure life? Very important question. What's your meaning of success? What does success mean to you? For us to find happiness, we need to create the success that's meaningful to us. Otherwise, you're just living up to other people's expectations. And if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing. Part of having a meaningful life is standing for something and living in alignment with that. So, having values and living in alignment with those values will help you measure life or have a meaningful life. Looking at the things that matter most. And ironically, the things are usually not things. You know, they say the greatest thing in life come free. So it's usually not the materialist part. It could be, but it can't be just fully being measuring life can't just be depending on how much material stuff you have, because we're made of mind, body, and spirit. You want to be in alignment with all of that. The three of them need to be in alignment. So when we favor one over the other, then we're out of balance. We lack the harmony that we need to have that fulfillment and meaningfulness in life. And I would love to hear your takeaways back. Oh, thank you. Somebody said this is very good. Any questions? Oh, how do you find your purpose? Mm. I mean, it's good to reflect on these questions by yourself. But I really think, and I know it sounds self-serving, but I really think that finding a partner or like a professional coach that will help you uncover your why would really help you live in alignment with your values, because it's so easy to just follow the expectations of others and do or conform to societal roles, and then over time you just don't know who you are anymore. And that's like you need to recalibrate, reset, and find your why again. Why? Because it's so easy for us to go off track, and then to go back. It's you need that contemplation, that reflection, that alignment, so that you don't experience burnout. It's a big thing. People experience burnout when they are not in alignment, when they don't know, they don't see their why. That's how they go into depression or suicide or drug or alcohol abuse, because they're relying on the outside world for fulfillment, for purpose, because they can't find it within them. I mean, it's there, they just can't see it, because you were born whole, always having, always will be. You just can't see it sometimes. I'm always reminded of the quote by Pransky where he says, all that we are is love, peace, and wisdom, and the ability to create the illusion that we're not. So realizing that the answer lies within, and it's just like taking the time to slow down and let that wisdom talk to us, looking within and finding the answers that you seek. Yeah, interesting questions. So I really hope you enjoyed a session today. I love talking about why. I'm so passionate about it. Um, it helps keep me inspired and motivated. especially difficult during those challenging times. A lot of the time, things that challenges, they tend to also inspire us, and that's how we find their meaning. Again, this is Dr. Aya Akari, certified leadership coach, credentialed by the International Coaching Federation, organizational leadership specialist, emotional resilience coach, and mentor. You can find out more, reach out to me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and my website, www.drayakari.com. You can download my free goal setting guidebook and goal setting workbook from the website. It's under resources. You can book a free strategy call with me so we can uncover your why, help you find your purpose. And also you can sign up for my upcoming book, Lead from Your Soul, The 4 World Views of Inspiring Leaders. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.